What we're going to do now is add some just minor shading just to get some extra details into these characters to give them a little bit of depth. So what we're going to do, I'm going to zoom in on the boy and we're going to unlock that layer. We'll just unlock all those layers. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add some shading. So what I usually do is I usually copy the shapes so I get a nice cut. So I just copied this shape here. As you can see, what I'm going to do is select this, hold shift, select this shape we're about to cut out, press shift M for the shape builder tool again, shape builder tools on the left here, and I'm going to hold minus and cut that off, just like that. So now we have this shape directly on the neck. What I'm going to do is press I for the eyedropper, select this color here, go to my transparency panel, see it's 2 circles overlapping. To open that, you can go to window and go to transparency. And what I'm going to do is go to multiply and we'll go down to about 50%. And I'm just going to bring it back one, and you can see, well, you can see now that there's shading on the neck. So it looks like the head is dropping a shadow there. So you can see without it, but with it, it adds a nice touch, a nice detail. We can also do, you know, for the hair, if we want to, we can do the same thing, drop it down. But I think I'll leave it for the hair. And we might add some details into the ears actually. So if I double click into the ear, I can actually make a star. So I'm going to go to my shape tools. I'm going to hold shift, drag this out. I don't want a big star, I'll probably do 4 corners. Drag it out like this, go to multiply, 50%, put it in the middle there. Maybe even rotate it if we want. And now it looks like we've got that inner ear there. Just a slight detail, but adds that extra X factor to it, extra flavor. I'll copy it across and there you have it. It should be on the same wavelength as this one. Cool, so we're already adding some touches, looking nice. To add some more, a bit of highlight on the face, I'm going to make a circle. And I'm going to go to lighten, screen, or even color dodge, or even overlay. So usually screen is nice, and I'm going to drop it 50%. So maybe it's like a highlight on his cheek there. I'll copy it across. Obviously his mouth is in the way, so I might have to move that down. I'll reflect it to make sure it's in the right position. There we go. So it looks a bit off, so I'm just going to move it. Cool. So I've already added some slight details. If it's too much, you can always go to the opacity up the top and the transparency. And that, change it, drop it down a little bit. You can also edit the blending modes as well anytime. You can also just click it or scroll down with your mouse wheel and it will just edit it. That's the quick way to do it. That's how I check, you know, what works best. We can also add some shading on the legs down the bottom. So once again, I'll make a copy, select both the legs, press Shift M and hold Alt and then left click to minus that shape. Now we've got these 2 shapes and you can see, get the eyedropper, select the skin color, go to multiply, drop it down to 50% and bring it back 1 so it's under the pants, and then you can see the pants is adding like a nice shadow onto those legs. And I'll just fix that there. So just by adding these fine little details, it adds a lot more depth. Even for the pants, another way we can do it, instead of copying a shape, we can actually create our own shape by using the pen tool. So I'm going to press P for the pen tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to find a spot in the middle here. And I'm going to just estimate it. I'm going to select the pants, select this new shape we just made, cut that excess out, select the color of the pants and press multiply. And I'll just drop it 50% so it's not too harsh. So we've got some shading on the inner pants there. You know, and then we can even add some highlights as well. So maybe you want some highlights on the edges. I can just make a box or a square, maybe as like a rim light. And I can cut off the excess. So always use extra shapes so you're not damaging the original shape, because it can actually edit and manipulate the wrong anchor points. And what I'm going to do for this one, maybe screen or color dodge. Screen's pretty chill. And I can just copy that across like that. So it adds a bit of rim light on the side, and then you can just drag it in if it looks too much. I'm probably going to drop it. like that. So already starting to see some nice nice touches to this. And we've got to color that backpack. I can even do it for the backpack too. Make sure we make an extra copy. Cut this off. Cut it off over here. We want to make sure this isn't this color is overlapping this. So we want to make sure it's all in the right layer. Cut this extra off. And I'm going to go to multiply 50%. So cool. Even the backpack has like a nice little shadow there. And we're going to do the same for this arm. So I'll make a copy of the arm, copy it across, make another copy of the original arm as well. So then we can actually cut it off. Shift M and then cut that spot. So what it does, it cuts the original part off. So then we have this excess hanging bit off. And I can just copy this same shading color here. And then once again, I'll select this new shading, get the backpack, minus that off. So there we have that. That's looking good. Because this arm is behind the character, we actually have to add a shadow here to make it look like it's, you know, behind. So what we can actually do is I'll make a copy of both of this backpack and the body. I'll just make it one color so you can see what's happening. I'll move it. I'm holding shift and I'll just tap it a few times, 3 times, maybe twice to the left. And I'm going to just unite this shape so it's one shape. And then we're going to select the original shapes and then select this one shape and we're going to cut it off. Oh. See, sometimes, so I'm gonna put it to the stroke so we can see what's happening here. And I'm gonna select these and then we'll cut it off. Like that. And then if I press select this now. Cool, so there it is. Sometimes it can be confusing. And you see, because this color is not green, it's going to be muddy. And I just selected the same color as this. But you can see it doesn't look really nice. First, I'll just cut off this excess bit. What we want to do is always select the same color that we're adding the shadow to. Because it mixes the color more nicely. So now if I multiply it, you can see it's more of the similar color. And it adds a nice tone instead of a muddy tone. As you can see, if I add it. The green, you can see it's a more muddy tone there. So that's just a good practice to learn that. So you've got that shadow there, that's pretty cool. And we're even going to add a pattern now. So I want to add maybe a pattern to his shirt. I'm going to actually first change this. Yeah, that's cool. What I'm going to do is just make some lines. So I'm just going to make some strokes. I'll copy it and Control D. I'm going to actually make this a light color. Probably make it smaller. I can group these together. And what I can do, I'll make a copy of this, of the body. And I'll just put these strokes in here. I'm going to align it. Actually, I'll roughly place it. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to make a clipping mask. So make sure this is on top and these are in the middle. Or this is below the shape. I can select this, go to Object, Clipping Mask, Make. And there we'll have that new mask. And we just want to put it behind the straps. So it's not interfering. You can see there, we have a nice little pattern, and I might just drop that down. So it looks like he has a stripy shirt. And you can see here, because this blending mode is on color dodge for this shape, it's gonna seep through it. If you don't want that, then just leave it on normal and we'll change the tint. That's another way you can do it. So yeah, that's how you add some shading, add some detail to your little characters, and you can continue to do it on each character and they'll come to life.